Welcome to Working Backwards. Now, in the past, you've probably seen me annotate and write on the actual workbook packet you have, but in this section, there's really not enough space in the problems for me to do that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading the questions to you. Hopefully, you are following along with your workbook, and I'll be providing some of the accompanying work that you'll need to do these problems on here. So if you're on page 10, assuming that yours is formatted the same way as mine is, as long as you're on Working Backwards, I think that's going to be sufficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the two examples, cut a video for that, and then we'll go through the actual problems that are on there, and I'll kind of show you how to do that. So a couple different ways. The first one we're going to do is really a classic working backwards. The second one is a working backwards using some kind of deductive reasoning, so that'll be interesting. So the first one we're going to do is the Bubba Jones. Bubba Jones died and left the instructions for his fortune to be divided. He wanted half left to his loving wife, Twyla. Ooh, a seventh was going to be left to his son, little Bubba. And then 2/3 of what was left should go to his favorite nephew, Jim Bob, and his pet, Sharika the Wonder Pig, was to receive the remaining $2,000 for her care. How much money did Bubba leave behind? So really we want to know how much was his original fortune. So what I do is I generally draw a picture, then work backwards from that using a couple little algebraic expressions and equations. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write a little dollar sign. Like he had some money in the very beginning. This right here is going to represent his original fortune. Now, along the way, he gave half of his money to his wife. Okay? So after you give half of your money away, you're going to have less money. So I'm just going to call this money sub 1, denoting that this is the amount that was left of his fortune after he gave his wife that half. Okay? Similarly, he gave a seventh to his son, little Bubba. So you're going to give a seventh away. And these fractions I'm writing up at the top, excuse me, 1/7. These fractions I'm writing up at the top are representing the amount that's given away. Okay? So after you give a seventh of your money away, you're going to be left with a little bit less money. So you have that. So there's some less money in there. After he gave that seventh of what was left, after he gave some money to his wife to little Bubba, 2/3 of what was left went to his favorite nephew, Jim Bob. So 2/3. Jim Bob got 2/3. And then there was even less money in here. Okay? So it was less money. So he gave the 2/3 away, and then there was less money. And Sharika the Wonder Pig received what was remaining, the $2,000. So we know this last bit of money right here, that is actually $2,000. That is what's going to Sharika the Wonder Pig. Okay. So this is essentially how we work backwards. Now, if you give 2/3 of your money away, the real question is how much money do you have left? Well, if you give 2/3 away, you have 1/3 left. So this $2,000 represents 1/3 of the money that you had at this money sub 2. So we can write this out like an algebraic equation. 1/3 of money sub 2 equals 2,000. Okay? So one way of thinking of this is 1/3 of what amount of money would be 2,000. So you can kind of think about this algebraic equation in that sense. Or we could solve this. And I know we really haven't talked about solving equations, but that's the direction we're trying to go with this. So I'll just give you a little insight. Now, 1/3, the fraction 1/3 is doing a couple things. It's multiplying by 1, the numerator, and it's dividing by 3, the denominator. So whenever we undo multiplication by dividing. So the one that's up there is going to have to be down here. When we're undoing dividing by 3, we undo division using multiplication, so the 3's up there. And the other thing is, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do the other side. So since we're multiplying this equation right here by 3/1, we have to multiply this side by 3/1. If we remember the way fractions work, we can cross-cancel. 3's cancel, 1's cancel. So right here, money sub 2 equals 2,000 times 3 is 6,000 divided by 1 is 6,000. So right here, there was $6,000 in the money right there. So what I'm going to do is down here, I'm going to kind of do our little backwards piece right there. 6,000. So essentially, before Jim Bob got his money, there was 6,000. Notice, Jim Bob got 2/3 of this. 2/3 of 6,000 is 4,000, so that $4,000 went to Jim Bob. What was left followed down this pipeline. That's the money that carried down. Now we're going to do that same thing. Now there's 6,000 right there. Okay. So kind of working backwards here, there was some money at this money sub 1, but we gave 1/7 of it to our son. So after we gave that 1/7, $6,000 is remaining. So if we give 1/7 of our money away, how much is left? Well, if you give 1/7 of something away, you have 6/7 left. So what we can say is this: 6/7 of money sub 1 equals the amount that's left, which is 6,000. Put a little line there between those two equations. So now we're left solving this equation. Now notice, before, 6/7 money 1 is 6/7 times money 1. And 6 is doing the multiplying, 7 is doing the dividing here. That's kind of the way the fractions work when they're next algebraic expressions. Now, how we undo multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6. How we undo dividing by 7 is multiplying by 7. So we have to multiply this side right here by 7/6, but whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So I'm also multiplying this. So I'm also multiplying this side by 7/6. So 7/6. I know it's hard to see you there. The 7's cancel, the 6 cancel, giving us money sub 1. If you have 6,000 times 7/6, 6 goes into 6,000 1,000 times, leaving me a 1 here. 1,000 times 7 is 7,000, divided by 1, 7,000. So here, there was $7,000 before we gave our son, little Bubba, his money. So carrying down here, 7,000. And remember, we gave 1/7 of this money to little Bubba. 1/7 of 7,000 is 1,000. After we give $1,000 away from our 7,000, we are left with 6,000. So we're going to use the same logic to go backwards to get this this last one here, to figure out what is that money sub 1 right there. So of our original money, we give half to our wife. If we give half of our money away, that means half of the money is remaining. So we can say, algebraically, and I'm going to move down here for a second, that half of the original money we had equals our 7,000. We gave half away, but half of it remained, and this is the amount that's remaining. So once again, our 1/2, how we undo 1/2 algebraically is we multiply by 2 over 1, multiply by 2 over 1, the 2's cancel, the 1's cancel. We just get the original amount of money we had. And then here, 2 times 7,000 is 14,000. Divided by 1 is 1. So this right here represents the amount that Jim Bob had originally, or this was his original fortune. We can kind of put this back up here, our 14,000. Half of it went away, 7,000 went away to his wife, and 7,000 remained. So that's, excuse me, kind of a classic working backwards problem. And we'll be doing a couple more of these. I know these are generally hard, so we'll keep working at these. Okay, so let's see if I can... Alright, so I'm going to cut the video now, and then I'll do the next working backwards example in the next video.